Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going. Um, like I said, I'm inspired by go-getters, right? I think people can do whatever they want to do, right? Live and let live. Sit on the couch, do nothing. I think you should have the option of being able to do that. I've got no right to tell you that's the wrong way for you to live your life, right? However,
Mm-hmm.
um, I'm super fucking fired up by people like yourself that's just like, nah, I'm gonna go do this, and then I'm gonna go do that, and then I'm gonna go do this. And it's just like, just because this is what I do and it's gonna go in every avenue possible amount, right?
Mm-hmm.
But something that kind of literally just came to me is like, what's your purpose? Why do you do that?
My purpose for like my business.
Yeah, and like life.
Life. That's an interesting question, actually. Uh, I think my purpose is to always grow, like practice self-development. And also, I think, I don't know, I don't like to be bored. So I think my purpose is always to like occupy like myself with something. So I always have something to do so I don't get bored.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So like,
Yeah.
what what's your journey? How did you get here?
So with the journaling, it's like sorry. First, it started in like before university. I was like actually always excited about psychology, but I didn't study it in the end because it's like too scientific for me. You have to conduct experiments, and yeah, I don't
Mm.
like the science side of it. So I chose business, which is another passion of mine. And when I finished my business studies, I just thought I want to like build my own business, but I was so confused about what exactly, because I'm a person with like so many passions. There's like literally almost everything interests me. So I just thought like, okay, what should I do from all of that, like travel, fitness, beauty, I don't know, food, like everything. And yeah, I started with building a beauty blog. And then quickly I realized that beauty isn't something that I can talk about a lot.
Mm.
So I changed that and started to create different kinds of books for like different purposes and for men, women, children. So I started with different log books, for example, for blood pressure, for workouts, for anything like that. And then quickly I realized that, hey, maybe I should do like books on women health, like mental health, physical health. And I kind of narrowed it down and started to do books about just that. And yeah, that's where I'm now. And yeah.
Wow. So what does that look like with the mental health for the ladies in terms of the journaling?
So with journaling, first maybe I will tell you about the benefits of journaling. So first of all, it's about expressing your thoughts and feelings in a written form, so you can do it like 100% judgment free. And I think you, as a poet, know exactly what I'm talking about here, because it's kind of like your coping mechanism with
Yeah,
your
100%.
like about everything. Like you can express your thoughts there and feelings, and I don't know, you can just cope with them better. And it's also about building self-awareness, and also actually it improves, I think, your written communication and communication in general. So yeah, there are lots of benefits to it. And yeah, that's how I just started to think about different mental health issues that women mostly experience. For example, the same anxiety. Women are a lot likely to experience anxiety than men. So I just thought, hey, I'm gonna create an anxiety journal, because I'm also dealing with OCD, which is one of the forms of anxiety. And that's why I can relate to that a lot. And so that's why I started to think about, yeah, different issues. Like now I'm working on self-esteem journal, because self-esteem is also, I think, one of the most researched topics in modern psychology. So I thought that's like very useful. And most of the people that I know around actually, I think, have low self-esteem. You can see that in their behaviors. And yeah, it's also including myself. I think before I went to the UK to study, I was struggling with a very low self-esteem. I was like always unhappy. I would say almost constantly I felt sadness, and
Mhm.
I just felt worthless. And yeah, I just really, that was a struggle for me. And I just when I came to the UK, as I said, I started to make my decisions based on my opinion, not like outside influence, because I was away from my friends and family, so there was no one to guide me. So I just had to do that, and I just realized, hey, I love this freedom. I'm finally living the life I want. So yeah, that's how I really developed or grew my self-esteem. And now I'm completely changed. I feel happy. I feel a lot more confident, and yeah, it's just amazing feeling. And I'm just thinking, yeah, before that I was just miserable if you compare to how I was then and now. And yeah, I think journaling also for myself, it's kind of like a coping mechanism with also everyday stress. And even if you're like relatively healthy as a person, I think you can still keep a journal, and it won't do anything bad for you. It will just like help you develop even further.
Yeah, for sure. It's like a prehab
Yeah.
practice too, right? Like you don't have to be struggling massively with anxiety or depression or whatever,
Mm.
right? It's for you to sit down and write some things down. It's like you
Yes,
don't,
exactly. It's also
no,
like with that therapy, you don't have to go to therapy just when you're like on the verge of breaking. You can
yeah.
also like visit therapist when you're relatively healthy. Like it won't do anything bad for you. It will just like help you maybe discover yourself even more.
Mm.
And like in general, I don't believe like that there's like someone out there who's like 100% like healthy in all of the ways. I think each of us has some kind of I don't know, either a mental health disorder or some kind of complexes about something. So I think that benefits everyone in the end.
Yeah, like I had a conversation recently, maybe not so recently, and they broke down like 8 different avenues because obviously I've gone bridging the gap between mental and physical health, right? And that's
Mm-hmm.
mainly what I could figure out with my very small blonde brain. Anyway, um, and they broke it down into these 8. Don't mention dropping out of uni. I know you're gonna
I
make a
won't.
joke. No, I'm fucking with you.
I'm
And they
holding it in.
motherfucker. And they broke it down into
Okay.
like these 8 thingies, right? And they're like, mental, physical health, then you've also got financial, then you've got like, and all these different avenues. And it really like blew my mind. I'm like, holy shit, like someone could be in perfect shape, okay, health wise, not just aesthetic wise, in perfect
Mm-hmm.
shape, mental health wise, great, right? And then they're struggling with their finances or they're struggling with like social issues or whatever, right? And you're like, oh, it really is this like Venn diagram of everything coming together and kind of like mismatching over the top. And you'll probably never reach that sweet spot. But for me,
Mm.
that's something that's like really exciting because like we both agreed on like 10 minutes ago, is like we're both workers, right? We have to be
Yeah.
working towards something because it gives us purpose, right? And that really
Mm-hmm.
excites me because I'm like, oh great, because it means like I'm never done. I can just keep going.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. It's like, yeah, you always have something to, I don't know, develop, grow, strive for. Like, it's never enough.
Yeah, and I think that I feel like that's addictive. I honestly think that's one of the reasons why I
Mm,
like the gym so much, is because there's always going to be
yeah,
another kilo. There's always going to be a way you can move the barbell in a better
yeah,
form. There's always things you can kind of tighten up. And I'm
mm,
like, great, just get me in the arena. I'll do my thing. I'll leave.
yeah,
I'll give myself a high five in the mirror and I'll go again tomorrow. And it's
yeah.
addictive, man.
Like you saw on my Instagram as well. I'm also like going to the gym. Like, I'm not like a professional like you. I'm doing it
No,
like on more like hobby level. But still, yeah, I agree. It's very addicting. Like every day I go to the gym, I'm thinking maybe I should add another kilo and another kilo, and it like never ends. And it's like, yeah.
fuck yeah. And I think that's so cool. Like, Like as a little side note, just seeing someone kind of walk into the gym, because it's got nothing to do with their physical fitness. It's got nothing to do with their physical capabilities, right? I've literally helped youth youth athletes go to the Youth Olympic Games, right? Obviously, there's more
Hmm.
coaches that involve in that. I'm only the S&C coach. I didn't coach them in their sport, um, right? And okay, that's fantastic, great. You know, I love it.
Yeah.
Great, high five, fist bump, whatever. But it's the benefit they get mentally, right? So then they'll walk
Hmm.
into the exam of their maths GCSEs and be like, actually, I'm a bad motherfucker. I got a little bit more confidence now. I'm not going to let this crush me. And at the same time, you know, it's people like yourself who's just got into the gym, right? And you could be like, first box jump, first bench press, first squat, whatever. And you're
Hmm.
like, physically, that's amazing, right? But
Yeah.
it's the mental spin that they've gained, and then are gonna go apply it in everyday life, and that just makes me fizz.
Yeah, I think also the going to the gym has improved my mental health a lot in that sense
Mm,
that I think it's like the weight, like when you do weight training, it's like very challenging, very difficult, and it kind of shifts your focus from all the responsibilities you have like
yeah,
outside the gym, and it's kind of you only focus on that weight, and yeah, there's nothing else in your mind, so it's kind of like clearing your mind. I think it's the like most relaxed I have felt like in from any physical activity. I think it's just yeah.
fuck, I love this shit so much. I'll never tire from hearing stories like that. Like
Yeah, really.
I think it's so cool.
It is amazing. And also, like, as you know, physical activity also improves like blood circulation. So I think that's why people say that, like, after the gym, if you go do an exam or something, like the oxygen flows to the brain better. So, of course, like, it makes sense that your thought processes improve. And yeah.
Mm. So how are you finding it? How are you training?
I'm training usually I would say 4 times a week. I used to do five, but now like it's like more work to
Mm,
do, and yeah, now I'm trying at least four,
mm.
and I'm doing hour each day.
What type of stuff are you doing? Just
Uh,
the
I'm
weights?
doing I'm doing weights. I would say either half of my training time or the majority, and then I do like 20 minutes cardio as well.
Mm,
So for cardio, I do either cycle or just like the stairs.
mm. See, that's also a great like meditative tool, right? Like
Yeah.
just kind of moving at a slower intensity where you can just and keep it as a sustained pace, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you end up working out so many processes in your head that you didn't even think was going on. Right? I know
Yeah.
I definitely do, although hold my hands up, I don't do that type of shit. I'm a weightlifter. I pick it up, I put it down, I sit down.
Yeah.
That's my fitness. But definitely like I love hiking and walks and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
if something just isn't working right, and I'm like, I'm struggling over some things, or I'm not working something out, or something's just not quite right. We got a trail pretty close to where I live in Christchurch. So I literally just walk up the hills and walk around the hills and walk back down. And I'll be there a couple of hours. But because you can just kind of sustain that effort, I'm on the route for like 10 minutes. And the next thing you know, I'm getting my phone out and I'm writing a load of notes because I'm just like, oh, I've made sense of it now. I got it. Don't worry about it. There's
Yeah.
some magic in it. Just moving your body, man.
Yeah, exactly. I 100% agree.
Mm. So I want to learn a little bit more from the female perspective, right? Because I'm not gonna know
Yeah,
clearly.
sure. Ask
Um,
away.
so female mental health. We know with
Mm-hmm.
dudes, I'm massive on talking with fellow dudes and talking about this type of stuff. And obviously, we know notoriously in the past it's been something that we don't talk about, whatever. Um, and like you alluded to earlier, it was like ladies are more susceptible to deal with like anxiety and stuff like that. First of
Mm-hmm.
all, is there anything else that you're more susceptible to deal with. So we understand, right? And two, why do you think that is?
So one example that pops in my mind is that women also struggle more with depression than men usually. And it's also related to hormonal change. So like we can also experience types of depression that you men don't. For example, like after giving birth or when you're in the process of menopause. So those are kinds of things that like are specific for women. And so yeah, it's completely out of your control. It's just the hormonal change, and there's like nothing you can do except cope with it and learn to deal with it. So like that that for at least it's like 100% in your control. Like you cannot control the cause, but you can control like if you treat it, if you choose to like become better person or stuff like that. That's something that it's 100% in your control.
Do you think with women it's more causes from the hormones, and from dudes it's more causes from society and external pressures?
I think for regular depression, maybe it's similar causes, like as you said, the society or maybe low self-esteem or some kind of pressure from your family or friends. But yeah, as I said, there are also those types of depressions that are like specific for women, and they're like linked to hormonal change. So it can be similar to men, but it depends on your cause, like what has caused your depression.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I'm always really interested in why. Right, that's always been something
Mm-hmm.
that creeps up as I was from being a little kid. Right, I'd ask a question,
Mm-hmm.
it'd get answered, and I'm like, okay, well, why? You know, why do we
Yeah.
do what we do, right? Because if it doesn't make any sense,
Mm-hmm.
again, I get myself in trouble, because if it doesn't make any sense, I'm not going to go do it. I'm like, I'm sorry, but
I'm
that
actually
doesn't.
completely the same. I always need things to make sense. I'm like
Yeah,
always thinking like, why is that? Why is that? If I don't have an answer, like I don't know what to do with myself,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah, 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 yeah. And like, I'm very, very aware of my own limitations, right? You said self-awareness, and I think that's a superpower, right? Like, the only thing I literally live my life by, the only thing I know is I know nothing, right? So I'm like, okay, if this doesn't make sense in my eyes, great. All right, I'm going to ask a question.
Yeah.
Maybe it will make sense after that. Maybe it will make sense after the 10th question, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if like, and again, if someone turns around and says, no, this is the rule because this is the rule and I made it up, then I usually have to walk out the door, shake their hand, and be like, okay, I'm done. I'm sorry, but I can't do that because that's just fucking idiotic in my eyes. But anyway,
But
that's a side note.
that means that you have like high self-esteem and you have that self-awareness, because some of the people will even listen to that person. They will be influenced by them. So uh, the only conclusion I can make that yeah, everything's fine with your self-esteem.
Oh, thank you. Would you say self-esteem and confidence is the same?
uh, I wouldn't say that it's the same. Self-esteem is more about awareness of like yourself in general, but self-confidence is about more thinking about your abilities. So that is a
Mm.
little bit different.
So
Confidence, yeah, it's more about like what you're great at, like what are your abilities.
would you link self-esteem with self-awareness then?
Self-confidence, you mean?
No, as in like so your self-esteem, would it go hand in hand of knowing yourself truly in the awareness sense?
Uh, I think it does, because if you, for example, practice journaling about self-esteem, you will become more self-aware, because by writing down those thoughts, you kind of dive into yourself. You know like what the causes are. You learn your triggers or your pressures, like who is pressuring you, and it's kind of you learn a lot about yourself, and it is what self-awareness is. It's about knowing your values, knowing your thought process. And yes, I would say definitely they're 100% linked.
Mm. What benefits have you gained from journaling personally?
I would say personally, it's as I said, it's you can express yourself like completely judgment free. So I would say that's one of my main benefits. I like when I can write down things that what I'm thinking, and no one is going
Yeah.
to say anything about it. It's just like and just for me. And it's also like very useful in knowing myself. I sometimes like when I answer maybe a question like in a journal, like what are my core values, for example. I'm gonna write down those values, the first thing that pops in my mind, and maybe it's something that I didn't think of before. And yeah, you just learn yourself basically.
Do you feel lighter after doing it?
I would say definitely,
Mm.
definitely.
Like I gotta do it every morning. Like I figured it out that if I don't, I'm a little bit, I'd say hazy, right? Like upstairs, like mentally, I'm a little bit hazy throughout the day. And I'm like, did I sleep enough? Yeah, okay. I kind of slept normal. Did I like work out today? Yeah, okay. I worked out. I was like, how's the food been? Food's been, yeah, pretty good. I was like, have I drank
Mm,
enough yet? Drank enough water? You're like, the fuck is going on? You're like, oh, I didn't write anything this morning, right? And
yeah.
I have to. Like I've figured out that if I don't do that, um, I just mentally I
Mm.
just don't work correctly
It's
throughout
like
the
same
day.
as people. I think it's same as people and coffee for some people like me.
Yeah,
I need
legit.
coffee, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
otherwise, like yeah, if I don't get it, then my day is not complete at all.
Mm.
And yeah, I
How
think
many
it's the
cups of
same
coffee
with
you
you
want?
and writing. Usually I try to limit to one, but sometimes two happen. So
Let's not talk about my numbers.
okay, yeah, okay, let's not compare then. I thought I'm drinking a lot of coffee already, but I guess not.
Oh man, no, I long surpassed those numbers. I do remember the first time I ever had a cup of coffee though. Oh mate, it felt like a superpower.
Oh yeah, I remember too. I couldn't sleep the whole night.
Did you have it in the afternoon though?
I think it wasn't really that late. I think it was like afternoon, but like early afternoon. But still, like you have never had caffeine before,
Yeah,
so of
yeah.
course you're not used to it.
You're
Yeah.
wired. Yeah. I had it just before I went to go squat, right? And I
Hmm.
thought I was gonna have a heart attack. Like my heart was
Yeah.
going crazy. I had like 3 hours, maybe 3.5 hours in this gym, and I was like still wired. I was like, Alex, what the fuck is going on?
Oh my
Like
god.
this is not good. But yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't know, like coffee's a big thing in Europe though, isn't it? Like it's a big cultural thing. I think it is
It
everywhere in the
is. It
world,
is.
but like we sip it at like,
Mm.
5, 6 p.m. at night.
Yeah. It is like that. Yeah.
Have you tried Turkish coffee?
I did once and I hate it.
Oh, you
I
not
don't know.
like,
I just don't like the taste. Sorry, I don't know.
well, don't apologize. It's your opinion. Um, yeah, it's thick. It's like tar. You are drinking like tarmac, but it does
Hmm.
kick you in the tonsils a little bit, and it wakes me up. So, I mean, I'm a fan. That and a bit of Turkish delight.
Yeah.
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah, maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's too strong for me. I don't know.
Mm. Especially if you're only on like one, occasionally two a day. Like, don't go drinking Turkish coffee.
Yeah. Have you tried Irish coffee though?
You mean where you put whiskey in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm northern. You see,
Do you
yeah,
try
we
it every day? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I do my best work drunk.
Mm.
I'm joking. It's like four
Yeah,
o'clock
I
in the
got that.
morning. I'm not drinking whiskey. Fuck no.
Sure, of course not.
Hell no. Yeah, so we do so the Manchester markets at Christmas time, you're gonna have to go one
Hmm.
year. It's insane. I think it's the second biggest um European Christmas market or the second biggest outside
Seriously?
of like it's massive. Yeah. Don't
I
quote me on
didn't
that
know
though.
that.
Don't quote me. Right. It could be horribly wrong, but I know it's fucking huge. Anyway, there's a stand, right? And they give you like hot chocolate in like, your whole little Christmas mug. It's fantastic. There's whipped cream, there's a flake on it, there's like grated chocolate all over. You get a couple of marshmallows,
Oh,
different color. Fantastic. But they put amaretto and Bailey's in it. Oh,
yeah.
game changer. You like, you're all snuggled up because it's cold. Next thing you know, you nail this because, it tastes good. So then you're on a sugar high and you've also had like 2 shots of alcohol and it's cold, right? So it warms you
Yeah.
up, but you're pretty squiffy after it. It's great. It's a great time.
Mm. Yeah.
Christmas is like one of those
Oh,
times
yes.
where it's socially acceptable to be an alcoholic.
I agree.
It's a very, very odd concept. Like you take what you do at Christmas time and you put it in any other time of the year, and people would put you in rehab, right? But
Yeah.
during Christmas, it's fine.
Mm.
That's not so much here because it's hot, which is really weird.
Yeah. Actually, even when it's summer, like when it's hot, I don't even like to drink alcohol when it's hot. I don't know. It's just like I always go for water or something like that.
Because you're sensible and smart.
I don't know. It's just like when it's so hot, it doesn't really. I don't know. I don't want to drink alcohol for some reason when it's
I
hot.
have to admit that's one of the issues with people back home is as soon as it gets a little warm, like they just sit out in the sun and they just drink so much alcohol. You're like, dude, you're
Yeah, I
already
can't do that. I
dehydrated.
don't.
Yeah, it's a dumb
Mm,
idea. They get sunburnt, they get dehydrated, and they get absolutely wasted. And I'm like, no, man, like, please don't do that.
especially dangerous when you're in Spain and drinking sangria.
Oh,
That's
sangria.
dangerous because sangria, it's very like it's like a lemonade. You don't feel it, and you just like keep drinking it.
Yeah,
Not good.
yeah, yeah. I've got a couple of stories like that in Croatia, man. You know, it's a good time. Especially,
Yeah.
what did we do? My favorite beer is Erpina. It's from the middle of Slovakia. It's golden, right? I took
Hmm.
a pint of that. It's like 80 cents.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man. I'm gonna go out with like €5 note and get about 6 pints from it. Like that's insane.
Yeah. In Eastern Europe, it's really cheap.
Wow, it's amazing.
Mm.
I
I
I
would
love
say
it.
especially alcohol. Like we have like I think huge choice of alcohol in comparison to England. It's really nice.
Yeah, and what I've noticed is this is gonna sound really oxymoronic, but the alcohol is better for you in the sense of because you're buying the alcohol back home in the UK, they like water it down and it's mixed with all types of bollocks. Like you go and buy a pint
Mm.
in Eastern Europe and you get a pint of beer, or you get
Yeah.
you get the fucking the real stuff. You go back home,
Hmm.
sometimes it's mixed with all types of stuff because they want to like elongate out the product, right, and increase the profit margin and all that type of nonsense. And I always find
Hmm.
I don't get as hungover because
Yeah.
you're drinking the real stuff.
Hmm. I agree.
I could just be chatting out my ass, but that's usually the case anyway.
Yeah.
So I want to bring it back to,
What?
sorry, what you saying?
I think we were talking about like morning routines or something before.
Oh, do you have a
Yeah, I
morning
think we were
routine?
talking. I think we were talking about like morning routines. You said that like you cannot like go the whole day without writing in the morning, and
Mm.
yeah, I just wanted to say like that. I also now worked on a morning routine journal. I have like put it for publishing, so I think it should be published like in tomorrow or day after.
Oh
And
wow.
while I was doing that journal, I was just thinking like your whole day depends on how you do in the morning, like what do you do in the morning, and like that's how the rest of your day goes. It basically determines everything that happens after that. It's very interesting.
Yeah, like I'm definitely a creature of habit. I definitely
Mm-hmm.
need to, the majority of my week needs to look in the mornings anyway, needs to look pretty similar. I need to get up when it looks like that outside. The sun's not up because it's kind of my time to set myself. So I feel that 110%. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
play devil's advocate though, because I see a lot of people, right? Like coaching, you see fucking, I don't know how many people, a lot of people, just different people as well. And you get to learn them, right? What would you
Yeah.
say for nighttime people?
Like their routine.
Yeah. Would you say like have a routine just before you go to bed and just like reverse it?
I don't know. I would say it's your choice. Like everything in life is your choice.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
like it doesn't matter to me like what they do. Like if it works for them, then sure. Like it also like really depends on what your goals in life are. Like for example, if you're not like a go-getter or hard worker, then maybe yeah, like night people, it's good enough. So it really depends on you as a person, what your aspirations are, and really like no one can tell anyone what to do. And
Mm,
I think that's perfectly fine if you're like if you have a different approach, and
mm. It's just
that's my opinion.
yeah, it's like the law of individuality, right? Like just figuring out what works for you,
Mm-hmm.
going with it, being open to have conversations with other people because that might be able
Mm-hmm.
to benefit them and benefit yourself. But at the same
Yeah.
time, like having the I don't know if I'm getting this right, self-esteem or self-confidence, which one, either or, you're probably gonna tell me and slap me back into place. To be like, hey, that's not gonna work for me, or that isn't working for me. I'm gonna slightly adapt to meander on down the fucking river. Um,
Yeah,
like
I would say that's more like self-esteem, because self-esteem is more about standing your ground and deciding what you want, like, and not like what other people want. So yeah, I would say it's self-esteem then in this case.
mm, there you go. See, I knew you were gonna fucking put me back in the place.
Just
Like,
so you know.
yeah, listen in, motherfucker. If you're gonna do it right. Okay, okay, okay. That must have been that 1.5 months at uni.
Mm, so yeah, what were we talking about? Um, the individuality, I think.
Mm. Do you have a morning routine?
I definitely do. Like I have like the same routine every morning. I wake up, I would say around 7 or 8 o'clock. I would like to do it earlier, but I'm gonna adapt to that, work on that. And then I go drink a lot of water, which is very important. It kind of like wakes you up and hydrates you, because like you have spent the whole night like without drinking any water, you like dehydrated. And after that, usually I like to start a little bit of work, but just like a little bit more, not like checking emails or anything like that, just maybe designing covers or doing something more creative.
Mm,
And then I head to the gym.
mm.
So yeah, that's how my morning routine looks like.
Do you find your brain is a little bit more creative in the morning?
I would say so, because you just woke up, you have gotten the sleep, and I don't know. It's just like morning is in general like my favorite time of the day. It
Mm.
like gives me all the strength and creativity. Like I try to do everything in the morning, like as much as possible, because after that it's like going downhill. I would say.
Yeah,
I know.
so
I
I got
just love mornings. I'm a morning person, definitely.
100%. Like I'm right there with you. I agree. Um,
Mm,
I got this theory, right, of I think because we're all connected right at the moment, right? We're talking via the internet on the other side of the world. It's an amazing thing. We got the phone that you can pretty much do everything you fucking want on this thing now, right?
mm,
And everything's like pulling you, and you've got influence from everything, which is a great thing, right? To an extent. And I think in the morning you kind of got a fresh start. it's kind of like
Exactly.
it's like a blank canvas, and it's just you and whatever you're thinking and whatever
Hmm.
you're feeling. And you've not got an influence of someone doing a baking challenge on bloody Instagram, right? Or someone messaging
Yeah.
you or an email or whatever. So you've got this
Yeah.
time.
It's like it's like nothing has happened yet. You just wake up and it's
Yeah,
like everything's like clean and you can just
clean.
like start doing like from the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely how I feel. Like I've got to do certain steps in the morning before I'm allowed to check my phone. Like I
Hmm.
have to sit down, I gotta write, I gotta do the whole gratitude thing, I gotta set some goals for the day. 'Cause I'm very goal orientated in a way. I've got to be going towards something. I realized that if I obtain a goal, it doesn't do anything for me. Like I just don't really give a shit. I've got to be like working towards a goal. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of a strange thing, but I've figured it out. That's kind of just how my brain ticks. So,
So
I,
you like the journey more than actually obtaining the goal.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because, say for example, I had a goal and I knew nothing else was at the end of that, I would probably self sabotage myself. So I
Hmm.
never achieved said goal. But if I did, I feel like worthless, right? I'm like, what now? What do I do now?
I think that's the very similar thing like we talked about like working that we have purpose in life. It's like you finish that goal and then it's like, yeah, now what? Like what should I do? Like
Mm.
it's
But
like you don't have a purpose again.
I also know that's going to change, right? Because the only constant in life is change, right? So we always adapt and
Hmm.
flow, and because right now, that's what will get me out of bed. That's what will make me do some things. I've got to be going for something in the future, whether that's tomorrow or whether that's 90 years from now. Like who knows? It's not for me to know. But I do know that will change. Like I like disappearing, right? In the sense of like Sundays, I always say, don't talk to me because like
Hmm.
I'm usually in the hills or on the beach. I'm usually in the beach. Um, or I could go wherever and I'll just disappear and I'll kind of like ground myself, do a lot of writing. And I like to go to places where people don't know my face. Right.
Hmm.
And I know that'll come again. You know, I go on these trips where I literally just disappear and don't no one knows where I am, who I am, where I'm going. I don't know where I'm
Yeah.
going. And the next thing you know, I'll come back or I'll pop up somewhere else. Um, so I do know that's going to change, and I think again that's another reason why how I keep going. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll keep going with this because this is how I feel right now, and I know
Hmm.
that's not going to be forever. Potentially, it could be,
Of
right?
course.
So yeah, it's a weird one. There's a lot of layers to it.
Yeah, of course, life is constantly changing. Like now, when the COVID pandemic started,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
changed, I think, everyone's routines and basically everything for us.
So how do you keep yourself stable? This is a really personal
Uh,
question, and you don't have to answer anything, right? If you didn't want to fucking say anything, tell me to piss off. We're all good. We continue.
is it in terms of mental health?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How do I keep myself? I don't know because in general I'm very like mentally stable person. I don't know. I'm very calm and it's like by nature I'm like that, and it's I don't have like a lot of things that stress me out or yeah, it's just who I am. I'm like very calm and grounded person in general, so it hasn't really like impacted me a lot, like some kind of instability or something.
Mm.
So yeah, I cannot really answer that question.
Wow. That's who you are, man. Like own who you are. That's awesome.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm just like always chilling, worrying about nothing, and yeah,
How do you think? Like I wish I could worry
yeah,
about nothing.
exactly. Like of course building like business or anything like that is a little bit worrying, but I think most of it maybe is not setting expectations. Expectations is like I think a very unhealthy thing to do.
Mm.
It's like it's putting pressure on us, so maybe that's part of it, like that I like now I started this book business as well, and I just haven't set any expectations. I'm not like, oh yeah, I want to sell this amount of books like in a week or 2 weeks. I'm just like, I publish a book and then I'm not worrying if it's gonna sell or not. I'm just putting it out there and just like moving on, working on the next one. And so yeah, to answer your question, I think it's more about not setting expectations, so you're not like setting pressure on you and stress.
Mm. That's a really important tool. And I think
Mm,
that's really commendable. And I also relate to it really heavily, in the sense of,
yeah,
hey, I'm gonna do this, it's done. Okay, but that's done. Right. Now
yeah.
now what's next? What are we gonna do next then? Okay. Let's get working on this.
You just move on. Yeah, you do one thing and you just move on, and not expect anything to happen.
Mm. Yeah, I think a lot of people can take something from that.
Mm. Because I mean, expectations are also different than goals. Like goal, it's not like you're expecting it to happen. You just set it, and in case something doesn't work out, you don't stress about it. Like you don't expect to accomplish this goal. You just set it and like strive towards it, I would say. But like, yeah, expectations are the unhealthy thing, I think.
Mm. What do you think most people trip in a sense of self-sabotage for their own mental health? Do you think it is down to that expectation, or do you think there's another thing in the mix?
I think it's two things. It's setting expectations at all, or even high expectations. And second of all, it's, I think, comparing yourself to others in
Oh,
different
comparison,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah, comparison. Like, I think now it's especially common because of social media. And it kind of makes us compare ourselves to other people. And I think it really damages your mental health and your self-esteem. And like you see on social media that there are people like showing off how they live in luxury or something like that, and you want it for yourself, and then you just start to like compare, oh yeah, I'm not doing good enough or something like that. So yeah, it's really unhealthy to compare yourself to other people.
So this is a really important point because I coach a lot of ladies, right? And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them over, I want to say 6 months, have come to me recently and been like, Alex, I really struggle with comparison. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm always looking at this girl, that woman, comparing. And I'm like, there's a trend here now because for the past 6 months, like a lot of them are coming to me and be like, oh, I struggle with this book. I'm like,
Yeah.
why do you think it's women more than dudes that struggle with comparison?
To be honest, I really don't know answer to this question.
That's
I really cannot tell you. I just thought it's everyone in general, but maybe it is women. I
mm,
don't know.
it's a real funny one, right?
I don't know. My only advice is don't look like I do. I go to the gym, I put on my headphones, and I'm not looking at anyone. I'm just like into my workout. I'm just looking at my barbell or I don't know, cardio machine or whatever I'm doing, and I'm just like, I just not looking around at
Mm.
other people. So that really helps. It's like I'm just like really into myself.
I think it's a real shame when people trip up and fall in this cycle of, oh, this person's doing that, this person's doing that,
Mm,
I'm not good enough, right? Because
yeah.
if people truly understood their like unique abilities and who the fuck they are, right? Like someone walking
Mm,
around with some passion in their eyes about anything. It can be like writing planners, it can be coaching, it can be buddy Pokemon cards, yeah, like it can be making mushy peas. It doesn't matter. Make whatever you want, right? Do whatever you want. But someone like living with that passion and that, again, I'm going to get this wrong, confidence or self esteem or both, right? That to me is the most beautiful thing on the planet. You're like,
mm-hmm.
fuck, that's amazing. Right there, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Like I said, I don't have the answers. I just got a lot of whys, a lot of questions. And I'm like, I don't know why we do this. I don't know if it's been like a generational slowly ticking towards, and then we got to this stage. But I just really, really hope that, especially like young people, right? Because they're really impressionable, they understand
Mm,
that, hey, you might not be good at school. You might be a great painter, right? Hey, you might
yeah.
not be good in sport. You might be someone who actually discovers something in a lab, right? You might
Mm-hmm.
be a great business person, or you might just be a fucking great dad, right?
Yeah.
You know, I think there's always something in every individual,
Mm-hmm.
and I really fucking hope people can start to understand that. Be like, oh,
Yeah.
actually, I'm a bad motherfucker at cooking roast potatoes. I might want to be a chef, right? And
Mm-hmm.
just something simple. You don't have to do the set routes like you mentioned before of like, hey, you got to go to uni, then you get a graduate job, and then you do this, and then you do this, and you're like, wait, hold on a minute, I've had no choice in this, right? I've had to
Yeah.
just follow your path. I was like, nah, just do whatever you want to do within reason.
So yeah, it's like in psychology, there's that term herd instinct. Like you just want to do what's like what's common in society, like what's accepted in society. And I think it's like our nature to try to fit in and I don't know, just not to stand out. And
Hmm.
it's actually a shame because like when you go to a job interview, for example, like people will hire you because you're different, because you stand out, not because you're like everyone. So it's kind
Yeah.
of a sign that you should try to stand out. And if someone says something, then fuck it.
Yes. Fuck them. Like, like,
Like now, like if someone's listening to this podcast and thinking, oh, I don't like Evelina or something, like, okay, I
hey,
don't
great.
care. Okay, great, I don't have to talk to you, go talk to people who like you or you like what does it do to me? Nothing.
Yeah, this the thing, right? Like people always think they need somebody else's approval, and it's like, oh, hey, like I think this is a good
Yeah.
idea. What do you think? Or what do you think of this? I was like, no, what do you think of this? I was like, well,
Mm,
I'd love to do it. I was like, great, go do it.
yeah, exactly.
Why do you need me to say it? And I think you, like, human beings are really smart, but we're also really dumb in the sense of we probably need to dig ourselves this hole to then bounce out of it, in a sense of
Mm-hmm.
you probably need to fall into this trap to understand it's a trap and be like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't actually need validation. Like, oh, I can make a decision and run with it. And if I fuck up, great. I've learned from it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm the
Exactly.
biggest fuck up on the planet, you know? Like, but hey, I'm on the other side of the world. I'm talking to some crazy ass people, including yourself. And I'm like, we're going with it. We're rolling with it. Like I think
Yeah.
that expectation is a brilliant point, you know, having no expectation on success of the outcome. Like put fucking focus on the effort, focus on the input, whatever the output is, that's set in stone. That's going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to change the weather. That's just going to fucking come and go. Rain or shine, it's
Yeah.
going to be there. You just continue on the effort, and the effort is what's going to get you places.
Exactly. I think that's what I learned in recent years. That like I used to be a person who likes to plan everything and like in advance and like plan every single detail of my life. And then I don't know. I went to the UK and I don't know. I learned to be more like flexible and just like not to worry about planning your life. Like it doesn't matter if where I am in like 1 year, if I'm on the other side of the world or something. It's all great. It's like experiences, and it's just, yeah, you don't have to put pressure on yourself and plan your life. And
Yeah, and that growth is fucking so cool to see.
mm-hmm.
And this, like, you've been this person, and now you're this person. You've been here, now you're here. and you've like just kind of meandered on through and it's been up and down, you're like, wow, that's really cool. You know, we're
Yeah,
all,
now when you think back, it's just amazing to see
yeah, fuck yeah.
the difference.
I think we're all different day to day. I think we're literally a different person every day. Not in the terms of like
Mm-hmm.
bipolar and tomorrow I'm gonna be like Alexina or some shit, right? No, I'm still gonna be, you're
Mm.
still gonna call me the same thing. But I think we're gonna like slightly change and learn and grow. And some parts
Yeah.
of us is gonna die every day, right? We don't notice it. We
Mm-hmm.
live in ourselves all the time, so on and so forth. But then a
That's the
year,
thing. Life
two,
is uncertain. You don't know. You just don't know. That's it.
so focus on the input, right?
Mm-hmm.
And get your journal. Shameless plug.
You can. I mean, they are a little bit girly, but sure, you can get them.
You know, like what's girly? Is it just got like pink or something like that? It don't matter.
Flowers,
Ah, fuck
pink
it.
flowers.
Yeah, let's. I can have
I mean,
flowers.
of course, it's up to you. Yeah, sure.
I love me some flowers, man. You know,
Great.
sometimes you gotta buy yourself some flowers. Like, not. That's a point. I'm going off on a tangent, and if I jump down a rabbit hole, you can grab me by the neck and pull me out. But no one buys themselves flowers.
Yeah,
Like
no
everyone's
one.
like, oh,
I
I've got to
haven't.
like give it to this person. Oh, I gotta like blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah. I'm all about it. And I think people should give each other flowers like
Yeah.
all the time. But no one gets themselves flowers.
Actually, you have inspired me now to get myself flowers.
Hey,
Like, I never have done that in my life. I never even thought about that.
well, it's, you know, I guess it's self-love. I guess it's you could go deeper of
Yeah.
like reaffirming that you don't need anyone. I think a want is more powerful than a need, right? I think two independent people come together in whatever format, whether it's a friendship, a relationship, a business partnership, as two strangers, whatever. I think that is a stronger connection than like this whole mythical thing of like, oh, they complete me. I'm like, go fuck yourself. Like your whole, their
No.
whole, right? They're a whole human being. You're a whole human being. You both have like positives and negatives, light and
Mm-hmm.
dark, whatever you want to call it. It's like you don't just make this one thing. It's like that is within everybody. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's me going down like a philosophy tangent. That's where my head
But
goes.
yeah, you mentioned the interesting point. I also am a believer that in a relationship, people should be like individuals. I
Mm,
don't like this concept of depending on each other. And of course, maybe you have to depend to some extent, but I think in some relationship it just gets unhealthy, like how much you try to depend on other person for like emotional support, for self-esteem, and I don't know.
it's
You have to be your own person.
yeah, I agree. It's and I think I think it's like communicated dependency, right? In the sense of, hey, we you know, you get to know each other, whatever, and you're like, oh, your strength is this, my strength is this. Okay, cool. So for this like household or family or whatever you want to call it, you're probably going to take up more weight on this side. I'm going to take up more weight on this side. Makes more sense. You're like,
Hmm.
great, because you're going to communicate that rather than like, oh no, why didn't you fucking do this? It's like, are you
Yeah,
not like a grown ass adult? Can you not fucking do it yourself? Like, you know, wash your own goddamn
yeah,
dishes. That's more of a
exactly.
specific example. We're not going to go into that. We all have stories, but we don't need to know.
Hmm.
I got three questions.
Shoot.
What's the greatest piece of life advice you've ever received?
Oh, I have to think about that. Hmm. It might take a while though.
You
Maybe you can ask another question while I'm thinking.
are multitasking. Nice. Number two is what's the worst piece of life advice you've ever received?
Oh crap. those are questions where you really have to think about, because your life has been like so long. And like, worst advice. I think worst advice has been not to get help. Like when I was in the UK the first year or the second year, I think, I was, as I said, I was struggling with low self-esteem, and I was like considering going to maybe therapy to kind of grow it and just like better myself. And I was in a relationship, and my ex-boyfriend, just like, I told him about these feelings I have, that like I want to go see a therapist, like and he just told me like, no, you don't need therapy, you're fine. And I think it was one of the worst things that could have happened. It's like, yeah, basically someone tells you not to get any help and just like basically be on your own. And I don't know.
Ah, man, I'm sorry you have to do that, man.
So I would say that's definitely like the worst one that pops in my head.
Yeah, the like invalidating someone's feelings, like
Yeah.
infuriates the fuck out of me, right? Because you're like, first of all, feelings are completely individualized, and sometimes
Exactly.
they're,
It's subjective.
yeah, it's subjective, and sometimes they're irrational, right? But just because they're irrational, they might be instant and they might go away within 5 minutes. Like, doesn't mean it's not there. Doesn't mean this individual is not experiencing that for 5 minutes or 5 years, right? It could be a chronic thing. You're like, you have insufficient evidence to shoot down this person and how they feel because you don't feel it. That doesn't make any sense. You're guessing, right? And it's kind of,
Yeah.
I honestly think this is getting real deep, but I think every problem in the world comes from a broken boy, right? Because I think um the male mind is really irrational and it goes like one or two ways and it goes polarized, right? It goes really extreme. And a lot of the time, from experience, personal witnessing, you kind of do research in a sense if you just read a lot and talk to people, right? You kind of see that the lad, the male throws it out onto someone else, whether that's intentional and you get the really fucking evil bastards that will intentionally do it, or the
Yeah.
majority of the case, in my opinion, where that is subconscious and they kind of just somehow cause other people to feel this pain that they're feeling. And I hate
Maybe,
it, man.
yeah.
I hate it. I'm like, dude, that lady, that man, that old lady, whatever, didn't deserve that. Just because your lack of ability to understand yourself, to sit with your own self, and to let it go. You know, you didn't deserve that. She didn't deserve that. They didn't deserve that. He didn't deserve that. I was like, don't just throw it to someone else now. Like, if you're able to bottle that up, sit with it, understand it, digest it, and just drop it, let it go. Don't throw it to someone else now.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know how a person can even like give this advice to like basically struggle on your own, not get any help. Like, how can you even do that? Like,
Because he would have heard it when he's a kid. Yeah.
maybe like the upbringing, I guess. It's like,
Yeah.
I think upbringing is like the main factor in a lot of like our issues in
Yeah.
general, because like our parents have taught us something and then we kind of pass it on. And
See, this is where like I would have faith in the sense of I think us as individuals, as a collective of young people, need to come together, right? Because we grew up in the same time, we understand each other a little bit more. And you're like, why don't we just fucking work together rather than like working against each other? Like,
yeah,
it makes a lot more sense.
exactly.
But some people are just wankers.
Exactly. Well said.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is. Like, I say, if you're a cunt, I'm gonna call you it. Like, if you don't like the word, don't act like it. I'm sorry, it's the way it is.
Mm.
What's three
I
words?
mean, if a person cares that, oh, sorry.
No. You crack on.
I'm just thinking, like, if a person cares what you think, then that means that they have low self-esteem. That's it.
Nice.
Like, if you have, like, everything's okay with your self-esteem, then you don't care how other people call you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a strange one. But I hope that we stop throwing our own bullshit onto someone else. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, I don't think we should stop talking. I don't think that's the case. But to get yourself in a position where it's like, okay, I feel like I need to communicate this. You're like, I feel XYZ sometimes because
Yeah.
I don't know or because of ABC, right? This is my thing. I'm going to go take myself out of that situation. So then you don't experience it. I'll be fine in like half an hour, grab
Mm-hmm.
yourself a cup of tea, watch a fucking Simpsons episode, and I'll be back in half an hour, right? But
Yeah.
instead, it's like, nah, fuck off. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Next thing you know, it's a massive argument. You're like, have we
Mm-hmm.
really, like, we've been around for what, 10,000 years more than? How have we not fucking evolved?
Good question.
Well, we definitely evolved a lot, but no, there's more to be done.
Not as much as we should have, I guess.
No, like we're trying to we put fucking people on the moon. We're trying to put people on fucking Mars, and we can't communicate properly. You know what I mean? We've got like
It's
this
mad.
this binary code in ones and zeros, which I don't understand at all. This is like that goes over my head, makes me feel super blonde. But then we can't even communicate with each other correctly. You're like, what is going on, man? Just tell them the truth. If you don't like it, great, they can go fuck themselves, right? And you're just gonna keep on walking with your high self-esteem because you've been writing in your journal.
Yeah. Well said. Exactly.
um, the last question is three words you tell your younger self.
Three words.
Yeah.
Um, I guess the same self-love, personal growth, and confidence.
Mm,
I would say
mm,
confidence is the main one. Like I was really struggling with that before, like when I was younger, and I don't know, in general, like I had the social anxiety. I had always fear of like embarrassment or humiliation or something. I was very shy. I didn't want to like express my opinion because I thought maybe other people will laugh or something. And yeah, so I guess confidence is the main one.
mm. But you left home to study in the UK to now open your own business and carve your own path and gone through all that fucking growth. You do realize how fucking badass that is. Like
I
that,
guess so. I guess I do realize, yeah.
that's a
When I think,
bad motherfucker. You're not getting
yeah, but
taken
when I
down for
think
that.
about it, yeah. Yeah, when I think about it, I'm also thinking like, wow, it's actually impressive. Like, how did I get here?
Good. Like people people need to big themselves up a little bit more. Like confidence,
Mm-hmm.
yes. People get confidence and arrogance mixed up, right? And I think they're quite far
Yeah,
apart. Like because
they are.
they got different intentions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people need to fucking big themselves up a bit more. Like in a terms of this is why I like the gym because things are instantaneous. You make the lift or you don't. Cool,
Mm-hmm.
great. That's the way it is, and we're quite
Yeah.
we're physical beings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you can see it, if you can touch it, if we can move it around, we kind of understand it a little bit more, right? On the vast majority of scale. So I'm like, okay, cool. pick that fucking bar up. Oh, but I was like, I don't give a shit. Pick the fucking bar up. Okay, they pick it up. Great. Put some weight on it now. Stop fucking around. You're like, what do you mean? Like, no, no, no. All right. Load the bar. Think about this. Okay, thinking about this. And they go over, they pick it up, and you big them up, right? And the next thing you know, they're skipping into the gym. They're cracking jokes with people they've never even met before. There's a massive smile on their face, and you just like, have some fucking confidence in your ability, man. Don't do things that are stupid, right? Don't be like, I'm going
Yeah.
to load 300 kilos onto the bar and try and deadlift it. I was like, it's probably not the wisest of ideas, considering you deadlift like 60. It's not the way,
Exactly.
it's not clever. But that confidence, man, like I've, I wrote something, maybe midway through last year. It was, I wish people could see themselves through my eyes. Maybe then they'll have a little bit more confidence.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it to be true. Like there's some people you're like, oh, you're a dickhead, no problem. There's people like that,
Yeah.
and I think there's a lot of people that think me like that. Great, whatever. But I'm like, you do realize you came from home, you went to the UK, you did this, you did that. Now you're going again. You get up every day and be like, nah, I'm going. I'm doing things. You're like, just that process. Fuck the output. Fuck the output of what happens, the product at the end. That doesn't matter. Just like someone like
Mm-hmm.
getting in the arena, throwing punches, going to bed, setting themselves, going again. Like that's so fucking badass.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
Definitely.
I'll stop talking to people when that stops firing me up, and I'm ready to like punch through a wall right now, and it's fucking 5 o'clock in the morning. Maybe that shows like I'm deranged. Maybe, yeah, probably I'm crazy. But like it's
Mm.
just seeing someone with a bit of confidence, a bit of a skip in a step, doing their thing, you know, it's so fucking cool.
Yeah. I'm really glad that I got to this point. Like I wish I was like this earlier, but at the same time it was a journey and I learned a lot from it. So that's also good, actually, learning from your mistakes. And I think that's what makes us grow, that we actually make those mistakes. And
Yeah, you needed to go through it, You had a journey,
exactly.
you wanted to skip a couple steps, and I don't know what you believe. Are you religious or universe or
Not
anything?
really. Not really. Mm.
Like neither am I. I'm quite spiritual. Not in the sense of I'm gonna sit
Yeah.
around a load of candles and rub some crystals, right? I mean, if that's your thing, do your thing. Like I'm not saying that's the wrong thing to do. Just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But I think there's got to be something beyond us, right? I don't think a big man in the
Hmm.
sky. I don't think a devil below or any of that bullshit. That's bullshit in my eyes. Not again. If you're religious, do your thing. Um,
Again, your own opinion. Yeah.
yeah. You've got to be careful, man. Because I say things how it is, and people
Mm.
get their fucking knickers in a twist. But fuck them. Um,
Exactly.
um, but yeah, I do think, and I do believe in like the quote unquote universe or a little bit of like spirituality. That's definitely where I would place my chips.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I think if you try and skip a couple steps, everything goes wrong, right? Or if you try and go down the wrong path for you, usually you meet barrier after barrier after barrier and after barrier. And I don't think that is an excuse to not persevere, right? Because I'm a
Hmm.
big believer of like I believe in my two hands. Like that's it. Like I trust my fucking two hands. I've done every job under the sun. I will continue to just fucking work. Um, but at the same time, if I've exhausted every avenue, I don't beat myself up in the sense of Alex, you didn't make this happen. I say, okay, this wasn't meant to happen.
Mm-hmm.
move on.
Yeah,
And
it's like, as we talked about before, like it's not setting expectations, basically.
mm, mm. Yeah, and you needed to go through that. There was some things that you needed to learn that was going to aid you now. There's some things now that you'll need to learn that's going to aid you in the future. And maybe you need to teach someone what you learn. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking about those people who sometimes tell me that they are afraid to make mistakes. I'm just thinking like, but how are you going to learn? Like, you won't develop, like you will just stay where you are and you won't like go further. And
Mm,
I think, yeah, even though it's harsh lessons sometimes, I think you still have to like go through them. You have to fail, you have to make mistakes, you have to go through a heartbreak or something like that. It's a great lesson for life, I think.
mm. Yeah, I agree. And stagnation freaks me the fuck out.
Hmm.
Like just never learning anything, staying where you are, doing the
Yeah.
same. Like that creeps me out, man. Like I can't do it.
That will happen if you don't like fail, if you don't make mistakes, you're just staying put where you are. And
I read or I was listened to or some sort of fucking quote the other day where it was like, your salary is the lie they tell you to forget your dreams.
that's interesting.
Mm. And it really kicked me in the stomach. I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
because I know a lot of people like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely you know, carving your own path in a sense of the private sector where I grew up, and like self-employed and all that type of stuff where I grew up is not encouraged. Like you either
Yeah.
manual labor, you work with your hands, or you go get a 9 to 5. Somehow you get a 9 to 5, or you work in a fucking shop for minimum wage. Like that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You're never gonna go out on your own. You're not clever enough. You never taught this. You don't have any role models that are like that. Like it's the working
Yeah.
class of Manchester, right? Um, and it's a real funny one because you're like, oh, so I'm supposed to line someone else's pockets so they get to do what they want and teach their kids so their kids get to do what they want, but I'm doing
Yeah.
what you want me to do, so then my kids do what your kids want them to do. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's again the like traditional model of life that they teach us. Like you have to follow this one path and there's
Mm.
basically not a lot of choice.
It's always a choice, right?
Yeah. Mm.
There might be
Yeah,
an easier or a
exactly.
harder
It's
one.
like, yeah, sorry.
No. I was just going to say there might be an easier or a harder one, but there's always going to be a choice.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm just thinking like sometimes how families pressure their daughters, for example, to have babies like some at some point of their lives.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like it's like there are women who don't want children and it's fine too. Like I mean, like I'm now thinking I want to maybe have children in the future, but like nothing devastating will happen if I don't have them. It's like you don't have to like do it because other people expect that it's like perfect life or something.
I think I think people cast their own judgments on other people because if it works out, they'd get all the credit. But if it doesn't, they have no
Mm-hmm.
risk, right?
Yeah, that's
And
actually a good point. They could like say, yeah, I did that. I told them to do it, and
it's
yeah.
like, nah, man, go do whatever you want. If you want to go work in a bakery, right, go work in a fucking bakery. You want to be a bin man, great. If you want to have fucking 15 kids, have 15 kids. You don't want any, don't have any. Like, and I also
Mm.
think having zero expectations on other people, right?
Yeah,
Or
that's what I wrote on my blog post about like why do we seek other people's approval. I wrote about how like if it doesn't impact other people negatively, then it's like fine, everything you do is fine as long as you don't impact other people in any way. But like if you make like your own decision about your professional life, how is it going to impact other people? Like no, like there will be no impact like in any way. Like as long as you're not harming other people, I think all of your decisions are fine.
Yeah, I agree. Like,
I'm just thinking like, for example, if I made some kind of choice to like get a job at maybe a certain company that, for example, my parents didn't approve of, but like, how does it impact them? In no way. Like,
parents is a big one,
there's
right?
like,
Like a lot of people do things because their parents want them to do it. And I guess I've been lucky in a sense of my parents have always been like best mates, right? So as you would bounce off a best mate, you'd be like, hey, I kind of got this idea. And they'd be like, all right, give it a go. And that's about it, right?
that's actually very cool. That's very cool because I don't think like a lot of people have parents like that.
Yeah, it's been quite weird. Like I didn't really pay much attention to other people like I knew about parental pressure and all that type of shit, right? Um, but it's very apparent being here. People do this set path. They get married real young. They get a house real young, right? Because that's what has been passed to them by their parents, which is what they need to do. And I don't know whether it is environmental circumstances. I don't know whether it helped because my parents, I never remember them being together, so they were always separate. I don't know whether it's just like randomly their parental, like that's how they raised me or whatever. I don't know, but it's always been like, oh, you want to do something? If you fuck up, it's on you. Figure it out. Um, I'm here if you want to shoot some ideas at you. I'm probably gonna shoot them down. Like they're gonna be like the worst critics, but also they're like, hey, if I say it's a bad idea and you still want to go do it, I'm gonna support you to do it. And yeah, I think that's the way it should be, you know.
It
Like
is,
you,
I think, the healthiest thinking. Yeah, I think it's the like the most healthy thinking,
just like your
that
best
like it's
friend,
up
right?
to, yeah, it's up to you, like if you fail or if you succeed, like it doesn't impact them in any way, like you're a grown man, like
Yeah, like like I say, I got two brothers, right? They're not actually related. They're just my best friends, but they're family to me. And if I ever gave them an idea, right, I'd be like, hey, like I got this idea, and I'll just kind of roll with it. I don't know. I have all types of fucking ideas. Most of them are absolutely dog shit. Some of them are pretty good. And they're like, man, that's probably a really bad idea. I was like, why? It's like, because you've probably not thought this through. And because of this, and that. And they're a lot smarter than me anyway. Like, I'm okay. And then they always say, however, if you're gonna go do this and shit hits the fan, you can live on my couch. And I'm like, okay,
amazing.
thank you. Like I'll figure this out, you know. If I do it and shit really hits the fan, I can go live on the couch. If I do it and it works off, they're gonna get a slice of the pie. I always say if I start something and it gets really, or even if it doesn't get like quote unquote really successful, if I start something, they're always gonna get a percentage of what I do because they're family. And that's what you should do, in my opinion.
Exactly. Yeah, but I think that's the tricky thing with taking someone's advice. Like, I think you should like get external maybe opinions about things to make like informed decision, because maybe other people have different experiences that you don't have. But at the same time, I think lots of people take advice as like, I don't know, they are get influenced by it and they just like try to please that person. So they're just listening to these like advices from other people and they're just trying to do things like that so they could please everybody. who gave them that advice, and that's not healthy. It's again the low self-esteem and trying to get someone's approval. So yeah, you have to be really careful about getting an advice. Like you should use it, but like not in a way that you try to like please that person and do what they said.
And perception is reality, right? And
Mm,
we could bat off ideas at each other, and I have a really good idea in my eyes, and be like, "What do you think of this?" And in your eyes, in your experience, and what you see, you're probably gonna be like, "Alex, it's fucking horse shit. Don't do that."
yeah.
And instead of being like, "Oh, fuck you, blah, blah, you're not supporting me or whatever," it's like, no, 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 you're seeing it from a different perspective. So I
Mm-hmm.
have to be able to one take that, be like, okay, appreciate that. I thank you for your
Yeah.
opinion. Second of all, I was like, can I
Mm-hmm.
take something out of this? Is this valid? Has this
Mm-hmm.
changed my opinion or whatever? I'm like, if it's no, okay, great. I'm gonna leave it where it is. Like I'm gonna keep it on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Like I appreciate it's there. I'm gonna come back and revisit it if I want to like reevaluate like this whole situation. But I'm gonna go do my thing anyway. Right. Or you could be like, oh, that's a
Exactly.
really good point. Actually, I didn't think of it that way. Thank you. And you miss a pothole and
Yeah.
don't fuck yourself over.
I think it's similar as doing a research. Basically, like this is the same situation. You're gathering information and then you're like coming to your own conclusions in the end.
Mm.
That's how I can compare these things the best.
Yeah. If people get somewhat close to me, you're probably going to end up getting random messages. I'm just like, hey, what do you think of this idea? And they're like, oh, Alex, not this again. Like, come on. Like, no, stop trying to make sweet companies or some shit. I don't know. Like, is there
Mm,
something random? Oh, what do you think of this? And a lot of it's charity events as well. Like, I do some wacky charity events sometimes, and I'm like, oh, what do you think?
mm-hmm.
I'll walk home. This was the last one. I'm not doing it, by the way. Okay, I'm putting it out there. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
doing it. I was like, I'll walk home. What do you mean walk home? From where? New Zealand. They're like, Alex, that's not a good idea. It's gonna take you like 4 years. It will take 4 years, but you know, you just gotta come up with ideas.
Exactly.
Do you know the greatest piece of life advice you've ever received?
All right, that question again. The greatest piece of advice. It's actually a difficult one. Hmm. I really cannot answer this question.
Well,
I
it's
have to think
okay.
about it a lot.
That's okay. Like you take
Yeah.
as long as you want. Like send me a message whenever you thought about it. I'm just really intrigued. I like to hear people's perceptions on things,
Yeah.
and
Great.
you know, I'm just intrigued. That's all.
Then I guess I will send you a message because it will take me a while.
That's all right. Yeah, take as long as you need. Um,
Mm-hmm.
these are usually questions that I ask myself a lot of the time. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, and like I said, the only thing I know is I know nothing, and there might have been a lot of conversations that I have with myself and other people, and a lot of experiences. I've been in a lot of countries now and lived a lot of places and done a lot of things. But it's like, okay, great, but this person has done a lot more things that you've not done, right? And if ultimately all I want to do is help people in whatever way, um, if that's the case, then you might know something that I need to learn to help someone.
Mm-hmm.
Just the messenger, right? Or the servant, or whatever the
Yeah.
fuck you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm just interested in people's opinions. I think
Yeah.
the content of what people answer in terms of questions um, takes you get a little dip into their reality, and I think that's a really beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, everyone has their own thought process, so
Mm.
I think we interpret the information differently, and yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, fuck yeah. People are interesting.
Mm,
Yeah, they are very, very
yeah,
interesting people. I really, really fucking appreciate your time.
no problem at all.
Thank you so much. And where can people like find your stuff?
So my website is called gorgousyoulife.com. So that's basically where I put my books and where my blog is. So my blog is more about writing about the issues I'm creating my books for. So maybe that you will find that educational. Yeah, that's
GorgeousYouLife.com.
basically gorgousyoulife.com. Yes,
Perfect. Thank
that's
you so
correct.
much.
Thank you for having me here.
All
I
right.
had a great conversation.
Thank you. If you ever find yourself in the bottom right hand corner of the world, not doing anything, we'll go grab a coffee.
I would actually love to go to your side of the world. So when I do, I'll message you.
Well, there you go. You got a friend on the other side of the world, you know.
That's a beautiful thing about networking. Like it's amazing. You just meet people and you just, I don't know, it's just great.
Yeah, you meet a lot of people, and
You get like different perspectives, get new friends, and
you know what I love culture. I love
yeah,
meeting
that
people from
too.
different places. I think it's fucking insane. I'm like, oh my god,
Mm,
what's that like? You know, what like
yeah.
I'm collecting. You know how you like get a beer or a drink or a coffee or whatever, and you say cheers, or they do it back home, right? Cheers, blah blah blah, and then they
Mm-hmm.
but smash the table, and then they drink it, right? I'm collecting all the little sayings from all the different languages.
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It started fucking many years ago. Like I went over to Denmark to see a mate of mine, and
Mm-hmm.
I think the first night we ended up going to a pub and like in the middle island too. So it's like rural Denmark. I basically look Danish. So everyone was talking Danish to me. I was like, no, 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 please, please,
Yeah.
English, English. Like I have no idea what you're saying to me. Um, and I was like, oh, what do you say? And yeah, obviously they say skull. I'm like, oh, okay. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. So everywhere I go, I'm like, what do you say? Like I want to say it in your language, not mine. Like I appreciate
Mm-hmm.
everyone speaking English, great, but I need to learn your language too. Like it's not, this
Yeah.
is a two-way street, not a one-way street.
Mm.
Yeah. So what do you
As a non-English speaking person, I really appreciate it because I think most people whose native language is English, they are not even bothered to speak another
uh
language.
yeah, don't get me started, man. Like
So that's why I really appreciate you trying.
well, like I said, I was gonna go live in Slovakia. I was learning Slovak.
Mm-hmm.
Um I thought the language was pretty cool. It was completely different, obviously, because it's Slavic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, I was like, fuck, if I'm gonna go live in this country, they're not speaking my language, I'm speaking theirs. You know, that's just a
Mm-hmm.
given. You know, if I went to go live in Spain, I'd have to learn Spanish. So why wouldn't I learn fucking Slovak if I'm gonna live in Slovakia? Um,
Yeah. Exactly.
but yeah, I'm slowly working through it. I'm learning a bit of sign
Mhm.
language over here.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like I'm big on like coaching is my thing, right? And
Mm-hmm.
if we talk a lot about like effective communication. And I'm like, okay, great. But what about populations that, are hearing impaired or deaf? Like you can't effectively communicate with them if you don't know sign language.
Mm-hmm.
So then we're like bastardizing part of the population. Just be like, oh, you've got a disability. Oh, okay, we can't coach you. I was like, I'm sorry, but I can't do that. Like, I have to adapt myself to help these people, not the other way around.
Exactly.
Um, so yeah, like so they all speak English. They got a little bit of Tereo, which I'll once I've done with sign language, I will do my best to try and learn a little bit of that. But yeah, wherever I end up
Mm-hmm.
next, I want to try and finish German. Like I learned a lot of German in school. I used to be able to get away with
Yeah.
reading it, but now it's been too many years. I can't remember shit.
Like now I also studied German for like 9 years at school.
Fuck.
And now like when you ask me to speak German, it's like very difficult. I haven't used it in like 5 or 6 years and it's just basically forgotten almost.
Yeah, every time I went to, like a hotel and they've got like one of those cards on the back of like the bathroom door, and it's
Mm.
all written in the different languages. I would try and like read the German and then read the English and see if I actually got it right. That was that was literally like my only like practice of German in probably the past. Oh no, tell a lie. One time we were trying to go to Slovakia. We ended up in Vienna.
Mhm.
That's a long story. Okay, like it took us like 36 hours. I took like 10
Oh my
different
god.
modes of transport. It was insane. Like that was really fucked up. But I managed to navigate us through Vienna on a bus because I could read German at the time, and then got us to Bratislava and somehow
Mhm.
ordered 2 bus tickets to this like middle of Slovakia. In Slovak, I was like, oh, I'm kind of nailing this. I
Yeah.
honestly, they probably was like, oh, who the fuck is this dude? This English bastard in my country trying to speak. But I kind of did it. It was good.
I think they really appreciated you trying because, as I said, like for us non-English speaking people, we're always like, I don't know, we always think of English people as like lazy in terms of learning languages, and
Oh, I will guarantee. I will back you up on that. Like, we're lazy, but two, the way they teach you is they teach you to pass an exam. They don't teach you to understand the language. So
mm-hmm.
I'm living with a Argentinian now, right? So we played a card game in Spanish, which was really fucking cool. It was like a Spanish card game. I was like, no, teach me the Spanish. I'm not speaking English. We're speaking Spanish. Um, but like he's teaching me these things. I'm like, nah, dude, I studied Spanish for like 5 years and they'd never taught me this shit. It was like, that's how you speak it. I was like, I never knew that. Like,
Yeah,
it's kind of
exactly.
like a box tick back home. So I'll give him a little bit of a little bit of a buy, but I get offended when English
Mm-hmm.
people are like, nah, you speak English. You're like, no, dude, you speak Spanish or whatever it is, right? At
Yeah.
least give it a fucking
E-
go.
Exactly. Even if you go on a holiday, you don't have to like learn the language, but at least like try to say hello in that language,
Yeah,
and
just
at
it's
least
not.
those basic phrases. And
Yeah, get your little fucking travel. Everything's an app now, right? And every app is usually free. Get yourself a little travel thing. Even if even if you spoke into your bloody phone and then the AI spoke in their language,
mm-hmm.
right? Even that is better than just be like, nah, speak English. I'm like,
Yeah,
I tell you, what do they speak in Latvia?
Latvian.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I sound like a complete fucking ignorant bastard there. Fine. I'll learn a little bit of Latvian for the next conversation we have.
At least hello.
At least hello. Yeah. I mean, I should be able to learn one word.
Yeah. Latvian is actually an interesting language because it's not Slavic, but at the same time it has a little bit of influence from Germany and Russia. So it's really weird. Some people think that we speak Dutch. It sounds like Dutch.
Really?
Like when we were in England and we were talking Latvian with friends, like a lot of English people thought we were speaking Dutch.
Really?
Yeah.
What
I don't know. Most of the people think it's like Russian, but it's not. It's not Slavic language at all.
what's the base of Latvian then?
It's it's actually interesting because Latvian and Lithuanian are two languages that are like completely different. They're not like they're like in this Indo-European, I think it's called, the language group.
Mm.
But yeah, they're not like Slavic or I don't remember the name. Like similar to German, it's like they have their own. It's like its own language, I would say.
Oh wow.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
Mm,
I'm always fascinated of like why and the history of it, right? Because like European
yeah.
history is fascinating. Like borders change all the
Mm,
time. It's very, very old, right? Like,
yeah.
and yeah, I'm like, that's really fucking interesting. I'm gonna have to do some Google searches.
Mm. Yeah, the closest I can describe it's like influence from both Germany and Russia, because we were like under their control at some points of history. So
Mm.
it's kind of influenced the language as well.
Can you say like a sentence in Latvian?
Okay. I will say the basic one. My name is Evelina. Mani sauc Evelina.
Ah, yeah, okay. I hear a little bit of the German. I understand.
Yeah. So like in German, like we also like when you say yes, we also say ja, like the same as in German. It's ja.
Well, don't
So it's
the letter J?
yeah.
Doesn't every Europe, like I could be wrong here, but doesn't every European language say it as a y rather than a
I
J?
think most of them. I think most of them. Yeah.
Which is
We say
which
yeah.
which is strange, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
like from an English perspective, you'd be like, oh, it's the English language, English alphabet, blah blah blah. We say J, and then you're like, wait, hold on a minute. We're the minority here. Everybody else is saying yeah,
Yeah.
and then you start thinking, are we wrong? Like, are we supposed to be saying yeah? Like,
Yeah. That's interesting.
yeah, like, oh, I do miss Europe.
It's pretty great.
It's pretty fucking
I
cool, man.
think I have been to. I think I have been to almost all of the European countries. I think there's not a lot that I haven't seen yet.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Actually, Prague is very nice. Like Czech Republic and Prague is amazing. It's really, a really beautiful city.
Mm. They're all old though, you get all the history, and that just blows my mind and fascinates
Mm-hmm.
me, and I'm like, I'm all about that. But
And Europe
uh,
has its own charm. I don't know what is that, but you just
yeah,
walk in the streets and I don't know, you feel this European vibe.
yeah, 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 you do. It does have its own charm. Like,
Mm,
it talks to you, you talk to the street
mm,
talks back. It's got a little bit of a skip in its step. Just the people too, man. I love the diversity of
yeah.
people. I love the cultures, the different
Mm-hmm.
languages, the food. The food's good, man. The food
Yeah,
is
the
good.
food is great.
Yeah, if I lived in
I don't
Central
like
Europe, I think I'd be fat.
yeah. I hate English food, but the rest of the Europe it's amazing.
Excuse me?
I hate English food.
Oh,
Seriously.
why? What's wrong with it?
I do, sorry. I do. I don't know, it's first of all it's very unhealthy.
Yes, that's true.
Second of all, I don't know, it just doesn't have a good taste for me, at least when I eat it. It just doesn't taste good. Like it's not fresh or something.
No, it's not. Like, well, I came
It
here,
it, it
right?
tastes artificial. That's closest I can say.
That's true. It hurts my feelings, but it's true. Because I came here, right? And I cracked an egg, and the egg was
Mm,
orange, right? The yolk was orange. And whoever I was with at the time in the kitchen, I looked to her and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" She's
yeah.
like, "It's an egg. Do you not have eggs back home?" I was like, "Well, we have eggs. Yeah, yeah. But why is it orange?" I was like, that's the color of a fucking egg yolk. I was like, "No, that's bullshit. Like, it's not supposed to be orange." Like, I'd never seen an orange egg before. And I'm like, "The fuck is this?" I had to Google it. I was like, "Eggs are supposed to be yellow. What's going on?" I was like, "Yeah, I've been eating malnourished eggs for my entire life."
Oh.
I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that makes a lot of sense."
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm saying that traveling is the most eye-opening experience you may have. I think it's like something they don't teach you at school or any workplace. You just learn something completely new. And
Mm, I've really got this. I don't want to say fantasy because it sounds really weird, but I really got this thought in my head that I want to be like 70, 80, 90, 100, whatever, you kind of the arse end of your life. And I sat on a chair and I got this map on the wall of the world, right? And I really want to be
mm-hmm.
like, I've been there and I've been there. So I've been like right to the top. of the North Pole, and I've been right to the bottom of the South Pole, and just been like, oh yeah, I've been there, and then just have a
Yeah.
story to go with every place, right? I'm big on stories. I think
Mm-hmm.
stories how we communicate for thousands of years, right? And it's how we empathize
Mm-hmm.
with people. It's how we get wisdom across to individuals, how we inspire the young, and uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that's just going to be a really cool thing. You know, you kind of got a whiskey and just looking at this map, thinking, "Oh yeah, I remember that one time I got kidnapped in Vietnam or something." I'm joking. That didn't happen. It's just a random thought idea. It's not what I'm
Mm-hmm.
going for. But I really want to go to
I
Antarctica.
get your point. Oh yeah, it's actually one of my dream places, I think, Antarctica.
Really,
Really. Yeah.
I really want to go. I actually applied.
You did. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
gosh, that's great.
yeah, yeah.
I'm actually jealous now.
I mean, they didn't say no. It wasn't a no. They were just like, oh,
Mm,
we're not taking any new people at the moment. Keep an eye out on the fucking job application. Great, no problem. Look, I'll go and scrub the toilets. I don't care, like I'll go pick and pack or manual labor or whatever, as long as I've got a little bit of downtime, because I'll just go and
mm-hmm.
write. I'll write a lot of things. And I think that'll just be one hell of a journey and an experience. I don't want to go see the South Pole. I want to go see the North Pole. You know, why not?
Yeah.
We'll do a podcast there.
Exactly. Why not?
Yeah. I'll take my little
Yeah.
microphone. I'll do a podcast on this
Mm-hmm.
on Antarctica.
Exactly.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Boss, like I'm super grateful for you. All right. And
Yeah.
we're gonna have to do this again. We're gonna have to grab a coffee sometime. If I'm home or you're over
Of
here,
course.
whichever one comes first, we're gonna have to grab a coffee.
Yeah.
Shoot
No
the shit
problem.
once more.
Yeah. I appreciate you connecting with me and asking me to do this.
I
Like,
always.
I would say like maybe years ago I would never have thought that I would do a podcast or something like public speaking because I was so shy and so like I don't know insecure. And now I'm doing this. It's amazing.
Yeah, look at the journey, like from
Mm,
from A to B or A to Z. Like that's I wish I could like make people feel how much that fires me the fuck up. Like seeing someone just
yeah,
grow and be like, oh, now I've done something I never thought I'd be able to do. And like, oh, that's incredible, man. Like that. I hope you end up giving yourself a fist bump in the mirror or something, or treat yourself to a glass of wine or something. I don't know, like whatever you want to
sure.
do. And that's really, really cool.
Mm. But yeah, that was exactly my inspiration why I started my journals and books in general, because I just looked at my journey and I thought I want like every other woman to have that. Like it's just yeah, I see a lot of people like living with their low self-esteem and not doing anything about it. And it's like, of course, as I said before, like what causes it, maybe it is out of your control, but like if you take charge of it or you try to like do treatment or make you a better person, it's like completely up to you. It's in your control and you can impact it. And yeah, that's why I created those journals, because that's what you can take control of. And
Yeah, totally. And that's an incredible resource, and
mm,
you, you're the one who turned around and did that, you took
yeah,
to action rather than just be like, oh, this would be cool, and then just cracked on
mm-hmm,
and did your thing. It was like, no, 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 I'm going to do something. I'm going to create something for other people. And like, if any ladies are listening, I know I got a roughly a 50-50 split, which is really, really cool. Like I really enjoy that
yeah,
aspect, and I actively seek out more ladies to have conversations with, to appeal to
mm-hmm,
female audiences, right? I don't want it to just be like dudes all the time, or just young people, right?
yeah,
Or
of
just
course.
old people or whatever. I think everyone should have a say. But I'm going to tell you this
Mm-hmm,
in my perspective, because everyone's different. But a lady just doing her thing, not giving a fuck, is the most badass thing on the planet, full stop. You're just like, you know what? That is a bad motherfucker. That's so cool. All right, great. I'm gonna go back to my day. You know, you're never gonna see this person again, no problem. You're just like,
Mm-hmm.
that is so, so cool. And I think the misconception of women needing to be the submissive in personality traits for their partner, right? Whether it's another woman or whether it's a male or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
um, is bullshit. And I fucking hope that if they want to stay at home, stay home. If you want to be a chef, be a chef. If you want to like be something in a male dominated industry, who the fuck cares? Go do it. You know, if you want to lift
Yeah.
weights and be this jacked motherfucker, go do it. Like they just kind of live in your own
Mm-hmm.
way and be like, nah, having high self-esteem because of the journaling, because it's superpowers. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
so cool. And that's coming from a male perspective, you know. So
No,
I
I
hope that gives
100%
someone,
agree.
yeah, I
Yeah.
hope that gives someone a little bit of confidence to be able to do that.
Yeah. That's why I was also doing that podcast with you, because I'm hoping that women will get more confident and they will like try to do something about their lives if they're unhappy or yeah.
Fuck yeah. I need to go to the gym. I got too much energy now. I'm fucking fired up.
You're pumped up.
I'm pumped up. This is not okay. I've only had one coffee and I feel like I could like run. I don't run, but that's it. I'm gonna go lift weights or something. Throw some weight above my head. Evelina,
That's amazing you have that energy now.
it's conversation. It's talking to people, you know, and
Mm.
it's seeing you in your light, doing your thing. That fucking fires me up. I just like I say, I wish people could see themselves through my eyes. I'm just like, that is insane.
Mm-hmm.
How are you able to do that? You know, everyone's got that little self-doubt in their head where it's like, oh, maybe you're not good enough, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's parental influences, maybe it's like an ex-boyfriend, maybe it's a fucking finance or whatever, or a genetic disorder or whatever, right? And they're just like, nah, I'm gonna go do my thing anyway because this is what I want to do. There might be some barriers, but I'm just gonna keep going, right? I think that is so fucking cool. And you just see
Mm-hmm.
the tenacity and the resilience of human beings to be able to be like, nah, motherfucker, this ain't gonna stop me. I'm gonna go do my thing anyway. Like,
Yeah.
that's game over. Like, let's checkmate on me. I'm like so fired up. I'm gonna go headbutt a baby. I'm not gonna go do that, obviously, but you know what I mean.
Basically take charge of your life. That's the lesson here.
Yes, and that would fire me up. And you know, there's gonna be some northern blonde dude going crazy in the gym because you've took charge of your life. You've at least got one supporter, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yeah.
fucking badass. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for your time and everything that you do. And I hope you enjoy your Friday evening.
Thank you so much.
All right. Speak soon.
Okay. Speak to you soon. Bye, Alex.
Bye, everybody.